Welcome. It is now the season of Advent in the life of our church. Advent is that time in which we look forward to the coming of Jesus Christ. Not only the coming of Jesus in our biblical story, but also the second coming of Jesus, that time when Jesus will return and make heaven on earth. Part of this season is that it is a time in which we prepare ourselves. We prepare ourselves in the midst of waiting for what is to come. Symbolically, we do this traditionally in our church service by preparing our manger scene. Every week, putting new elements in it as we get closer to Christmas. Of course, Advent is not just the time before Christmas, but it is a time of preparation and of thinking about what is to come. So Margaret and me have decided that this year we wanted to do this time of preparation in devotionals, filmed and will put forward every Monday. We will slowly be assembling the scene together and hope that you can join with us as we prepare our hearts for what is to come. Our first part of the manger scene is the manger itself. It lies empty now, waiting for what is to come, reminding us that Advent is a season of waiting. Waiting not only for Jesus, but a reminder that in our lives, as we look in the world around us, we are waiting. Waiting for good to triumph, for love to prevail. We are waiting. But the manger, I think, also represents something important. We have the manger from one verse in the book of Luke, where it says that Mary, after having Jesus laid him down in a manger because there was no room at the inn. Traditionally, in our normal Christmas celebrations, we have an innkeeper who, after Mary and Joseph knock on the door, sternly tells them there's no room here. Then they go off to a secluded, quiet manger scene far away from everything. And that might be it. But some scholars have suggested perhaps we don't have this right. An inn in the time of Jesus was more like a large common space. We might think of a campground. It was a gathering space for travelers to come and stay. The inn, or that common space, being full in the house meant that the only room was there with the animals. But this was not an awful space to be. In fact, it was where probably most of the family was intending to stay. So perhaps the invitation that Mary and Joseph got from their family was not banishing them to a far out manger, but instead was trying to find that extra space, that pull-down bed for a guest. Jesus was born into the world in the midst of it, in humble circumstances, unremarkable, but in a place that was given out of generosity. It was a family trying to find some sort of quiet and private place for Mary. So I think when we look at the manger and we see it this Advent, perhaps it should be for us an invitation of generosity, to know that even when everywhere else seems to be full, perhaps we can find a place in our hearts, in our lives, not only for Jesus, but for our neighbors around us. So, our Advent journey begins with an empty manger. Would you join me as we continue on in the weeks to come? Thank you.